A very good morning to all the participants of this webinar from DTRTI Lucknow. I'm Arvind Mishra, welcoming you to DTRTI Lucknow webinars. And today we are going to study the topic Rectification of Errors as part of our series on bookkeeping and accountancy. Friends, today is 17th of November 2020 and we heartily welcome you to the DTRTI Lucknow webinars once again. In this unit, we will be studying what are the different types of errors that may occur while recording the transactions and events. We will also become familiar with the steps involved in locating those errors. We will understand the nature of the one-sided errors and two-sided errors. We will also understand why suspense account is opened for rectifying the errors. And we will also see how the errors of one financial accounting period are corrected in the next accounting period. So, as an overview, errors are of four types. The errors of omission, the errors of commission, the errors of principal, and the compensating errors. So now to start with, let us see what errors are. Errors means something which is happening unintentionally. Unintentional omission or unintentional commission of error may happen. And errors may be of the amounts involved, or errors may be in writing the accounts while recording the transactions. Now these errors, these unintentional errors can be committed while we are collecting financial information on the basis of which the financial statements are being drawn, or also while recording the information, both at the collection and the recording stage. Maybe we are not collecting the correct information, that is why the error is creeping into the accounts, or otherwise we are not recording them correctly. Errors may also result due to mathematical errors, mathematical mistakes, or mistakes in accounting policy implementation, or in interpreting the facts, or there may be error of oversight. We have overlooked something and therefore we have missed out something, and that is why the error is crept in. Now, first of all, in order to check the arithmetical accuracy or the mathematical accuracy of the accounts of the journal and the ledger accounts, we prepare the trial balance. Now, if the trial balance is not tallying, then we can say that there are errors in the accounts which require rectification. However, on the other hand, some errors may be affecting the trial balance, but there may be some errors which do not impact the trial balance at all, although still they impact the determination of profits or loss or the determination of assets or liabilities of the business. Now let us see how errors may occur in the books of accounts. Now, after preparing ledger accounts, we prepare the trial balance. Trial balance, as you know, is a statement of all the accounts that are there in the ledger with the debit balances or the credit balances written separately in the separate columns. So we list the debit balances of all the accounts and the credit balances of all the accounts, and then we total them. Now, if the debit balance total is not equal to the credit balance total, then we are sure that there have been some errors. I mean, it is not possible that both sides are unequal and yet there is no error. This is the first confirmation that we get that there is no error over there. Now we'll study the various types of errors which may be committed and how they can be rectified. Now let's see some illustrative list of the errors that may be there. So A, if we make a wrong entry of the wrong value entry of any transaction or event in the subsidiary books journal or in the cash book, so a wrong entry may result in an error. For example, if credit purchases are 17,270, but they are entered in the purchases day book as 17,720 instead of 270. So there is a value error here. It may also happen that sometimes the credit sales of 15,000 gross less 1% trade discount are wrongly entered in the sales day book at 15,000 instead of reducing the 1% trade discount. Again, there is a value error here. Now, check which is issued for 19,920 may be wrongly entered in the credit of the bank column in the cash book as 19,290. So here also there is a value error because instead of 19,920, a value of 19,290 has been entered. Now let's see B. Wrong casting of the subsidiary book. The subsidiary books like purchase day books, sales day books, etc. They are totaled periodically and posted to the appropriate ledger account. Now, when we say that wrong casting has been done, what we are saying is that there is a totaling error. The totaling error may arise due to either wrong entry or simply it may be due to the independent error, independent totaling error. For example, for month of January 2016, the total of credit sales was 1,75,700. But while totaling, a wrong total was done, and total that was done was 1,76,700, and that was posted to the sales account as 1,76,700 instead of 1,75,700. Now this is happening not due to the wrong entry but due to the wrong totaling. Now let us see cash book. Now in the cash book, while casting the cash book or while making the cash book, if we do not cast the cash book properly, if we do not write the cash book properly, then it will lead to a wrong calculation of the balance carried down. Now let us say that, for example, in the case of Messrs. Tularam and Company, let us take this example 3. These are the transactions from January 1 to January 8. On the basis of these transactions, the cash book has been cast. by making the entries in the cash book. As you can see, there is a cash column and there is a bank column. Now let us see that what are the wrong entries here that are being made in casting the cash book. For example, when we say January 6, check was collected from Messrs. India and Brothers of 42,240. So instead of writing 42,240, the check amount has been written as 42,420. So that is a value mistake here. Then cash sales, or rather wages instead of 12,400, that is entered here as 12,200. Now cash sales of 37,730 are written as 37,370. Also, an amount of cash was deposited in the bank, 35,000, but that is mentioned here as 34,500 by mistake. In fact, this 34,500 entry is coming two times, here also and here also. Whereas we can see cash deposited of only one time 35,000 rupees. So this is how we can see here that the total of the cash balance, the cash column as well as the bank column, is the same on both sides. But yet you are seeing that there are lots of errors in recording the transactions. So here you can see that all the wrong entries and all the wrong castings are shown in bold print. As we can see here, that when we total the amounts also, there is an error here. So wrong entries and wrong casting are shown in bold print. Now, whatever entries are made in the cash book, if the errors are happening there, they are not being carried forward because cash balances are tallied daily in the cash book and in practical reality also. So therefore, errors of the cash book do not get carried forward generally, and they are rectified. So in the cash book, the errors are identified at an early stage. So the cash column, as far as the cash column is concerned, that gets corrected almost on a daily basis. But as far as the bank column is concerned, that cannot be checked daily, and therefore errors may be carried till the time we do a bank reconciliation. So as we can see here, wrong entries have been made and wrong casting has been made. There are 4 wrong entries and 1 wrong casting. So you can say that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 wrong entries and 1 wrong casting, because the amount which is deposited in the bank account at 35,000, that was a cash deposit, and it is mentioned here, a double entry has been made, or it is attempted entry, contra entry attempt has been made here, that cash is taken out, cash is deposited in the bank. So what is happening here is, when we deposit cash into the bank, we are debiting the cash column. We should be debiting the cash column. We should be debiting the bank column, and that has been done here. The bank column has been debited and the cash column has been credited here. However, there is a mistake in the amount that is written here, and of course there is a totaling entry also. So therefore there are 5 entries which are in mistake. Now we go to the next one, wrong posting from subsidiary books. So we are just checking out what kind of errors generally happen. In this case, where wrong amount gets posted to the ledger account, or the amount may be posted to the wrong side of the ledger account, or to the wrong account in the ledger account. So for example, which purchases which are made from A may get posted to B's account. So there are 3 types of errors being mentioned here. That amount may be posted, wrong amount may be posted, or wrong amount may be posted to the amount may be posted to the wrong side, or the amount may be posted to the wrong account. Now then, wrong casting of the ledger balance. Just like in the cash book, even ledger account balance may be cast wrongly or may be totaled wrongly. So obviously wrong posting may make the balance wrong also. But that is not wrong casting. Independent casting error can occur in the case of bank column, as we have seen in the above example, as we can see in the example 4 below, and that is called the wrong casting of the ledger balance. When we say wrong casting, that means there is an independent error in the totaling of the ledger balance. Now let us see the example 4. There are some credit purchases being mentioned here on January 1, 3 and 6, and from various parties, and first of all, Saurabh and a company's account is being cast. Now purchase has been made from Saurabh and company on January 6 and on January 1. The January 1 purchase is 1 lakh less 1%. So that is mentioned here. 1 lakh, less 1 lakh less 1% is 99,000. January 6 purchase 60,000 less 1%. So 1% is 600. So 600 has been reduced here, less 1%. And therefore, if we total these two figures, then the total should not be 1,55,000, but here wrong casting has been done and wrong total has been taken. So whereas the total out here should have been 1,58,400, the total is wrongly mentioned as 1,55,000. So this is what we call the wrong casting. So while casting the credit side, an error has been committed, and therefore the balancing figure here, 1,55,000 balance carried down, is incorrect. Now let us take one more example, example 5. Goods which are purchased on credit from Mrs. Saurabh and Company for 27,030. They are being mentioned here as 27,050. And goods were purchased from Mrs. Karnataka Suppliers also, 28,050. That has been also wrongly mentioned as 28,030. And then a purchase book has been made. So both the transactions here are entered wrongly. But what is happening is the total in the first transaction, the total purchase is same, is correct, because in the first transaction a mistake of plus 20 rupees has been made, and in the second transaction a mistake of minus 20 rupees has been made. So therefore one mistake is compensating for the other mistake, and that is why the total of the purchase day book is not incorrect, it is correct, but the individual entries are not correct. So even if we don't rectify this kind of error, our trial balance would get tallied. So we reach a conclusion from here that sometimes trial balance may tally, but still there may be errors. As you can see here, the trial balance is tallying, but there is an error in both the entries. Now let us see that what are the stages of the errors that occur. In case of the journal, the errors may be of the three types: the errors of principal, omission, and commission. As the stage of the entries in the ledger, the errors of omission may be of two types: either they may be a partial omission or there may be a complete omission. Errors of commission also may be of three types at the stage of the ledger. As you have seen, either the amount may get posted on the wrong account or on the wrong side of the account, or the wrong amount may get posted. Now when we balance the ledger accounts, at that stage also there may be either wrong totaling of the accounts or wrong balancing of the accounts. Wrong balancing when the balancing amount has been incorrectly entered. At the stage of preparing the trial balance, we may again have the similar errors of omission, commission as in the ledger, and therefore we can say that errors are of four categories. After taking into account all the stages where errors may happen, this conclusion can be drawn that errors can be divided into four categories: the errors of principal, omission, commission, and the compensating errors. Now let us understand these various types of errors. So number one is errors of principle. Whenever transaction is recorded in contravention of accounting principles, where accounting principles are contravened. For example, we may treat the purchase of an asset as an expenditure, then it is an error of principle. Now, in such cases, in the case of errors of principle, in this particular case, there is no effect on the trial balance because the amounts are placed on the correct side, though it is being placed in the wrong account. An amount which should be placed in the purchase account is being placed in the expense account. For example, if we purchase a computer, and when we purchase a computer, we should be debiting the asset account. But instead of doing that, if we debit the office expenses account, the trial balance will still agree. So the conclusion being drawn here is that in the case of an error of principle, the trial balance still agrees. But that doesn't mean that if the trial balance agrees, there is no mistake. As we have seen earlier, also trial balance may agree in the case of compensating errors also. Trial balance agrees also in the case of errors of principle. Now, what about clerical errors? Clerical errors happen because of either omission, commission, or compensation. So when we say errors of omission, if a transaction gets completely omitted or partially omitted, it will be a case of omission. Example, that we don't record a credit purchase of furniture, or we don't post it in the ledger. Then there is errors of commission. Commission means something is being committed or done. Omission means something which is omitted to be done or not done. So errors of commission, if the amount gets posted on the wrong account or on the wrong side, or the totaling has been done wrongly, or a wrong balance is being taken, all these kinds of errors are called errors of commission. Because here an error has got committed, or the error has been done. Then, of course, there are compensating errors, and if the effect of the errors cancel out, the errors will be called compensating errors. The trial balance will agree in the case of compensating errors. Let us say an amount of rupees 10 is received from A, and it is not credited to his account. And therefore, the total of the sales book is 10 rupees in excess. Now here what is happening is that there is an omission of credit to, there are two errors being made here. That we take, when we take the sales book total, we are wrongly totaling 10 rupees in excess. On the other hand, when we are receiving 10 rupees from A, we are not crediting his account. So there are two errors being made here. When we omit the credit to A's account, that error will be made up or compensated by the increased credit to the sales account. So credit to one account is being reduced and the credit to other account is being increased. So it is getting compensated. So these are the types of clerical errors. Now, so we have divided errors into four types: errors of omission, commission, principal, and compensating errors. If we look at it from another angle, we can also divide errors into two categories. The first category is that those errors which are affecting the trial balance. Now, because of these errors which are affecting the trial balance does not agree. So we are looking at errors in the way they are affecting the trial balance or whether they are not affecting the trial balance. So we can divide errors into two categories, whether they are affecting the trial balance or they are not affecting the trial balance. So let us see those errors which affect the trial balance. Once again, the same kind of errors which we have seen earlier, but looking at them from a different angle, whether they are affecting the trial balance or they are not affecting the trial balance. The first one is wrong casting of the subsidiary book, which means the totaling has been done wrongly. That is going to definitely affect the trial balance. Then wrong balancing of an account. While balancing an account, if a wrong balance is taken, then this error occurs. Side or posting the wrong amount in the ledger, or omitting to post an amount, or omitting to post the total of the subsidiary book into the accounts. Then there may be omission to write the cash book balance in the trial balance. Some statement may get missed out. Some account may get missed out while writing the trial balance. Then omission may be to write the balance of an account in the trial balance. So either balance of account has been missed out, or balance of the cash book has been missed out, or balance of an account is written on the wrong column of the trial balance. Instead of debit side is being written on the credit side, or totaling of the trial balance has been done wrongly. Then also these errors may arise, which will affect the trial balance. Then let us see some errors which will not affect the trial balance. If we omit an entry altogether from the subsidiary book, then that will not affect the trial balance. Now, if we make an entry with the wrong amount in the subsidiary book, that will also not affect the trial balance. Because subsidiary book, if we write a wrong purchase, it will not have any effect on the trial balance. It can have an effect on the profits, calculation of the profit. And then the posting an amount in the wrong account but on the correct site. That is, an amount to be debited to A is debited to B. That will also not affect the balance in the trial balance. So in this way, there are many ways in which trial balance may not be affected even if error is there. Now the question arises that, having understood what kind of errors may be happening, we have to locate the errors whenever they happen. So how do we go about locating the errors? What are the steps to locate the errors? So even if there is a very, very small difference in the trial balance, we may need to do a lot of searching to locate the errors. Because even a small difference may be the result of many errors. On the other hand, a big difference may be the result of only one error or two errors. So in any case, whenever even a small difference is there, we will need to do the entire exercise of locating all the errors, all the possible errors. So the steps which needs to be taken are like this: that number one, both the columns of the trial balance are total once again. First of all, this is the first thing to do, to check whether there is actually a trial balance totaling error, due to which the difference is arising in the debit totals and the credit totals of the trial balance. Then we should also check that if in the place of a number of accounts, only one amount has been written in the trial balance, Then the list of such accounts should be checked and totaled again. Now, list of trade receivables is the example from which the trade receivable balance is derived. For example, we take all the trade receivables into one account and from there we write the balance. That is an example where in the place of a number of accounts, we are writing only one amount. So we need to check the entire list of those accounts correctly in detail. So we have to check all the trade receivable accounts which are coming into the list of the trade receivables to check whether all the balances are written correctly or not. Then we should see that whether the cash balances and the bank balances are correct. Then the third step is we need to establish the exact difference in the trial balance. So we have to go through the ledger completely, one by one, every account. And in the first step, we should try to find out whether the difference that is coming in the trial balance, that is the exact difference of the balance in any account. Probably one account is remaining to be written. And if the balance difference, the debit and the credit side difference tallies exactly with any balance of any account in the ledger, perhaps that particular account has not been entered, that has been omitted. Another thing that can be done is that whatever difference is there in the trial balance, we should half it. We take half the entry, half the difference, then it is possible that the balance which is equal to half the difference has been written in the wrong column. That is why we'll half the difference and then check whether it is tallying with any account. Because if there is a 2 rupees balance in any account and that is not written on the correct side, and will lead to a 4 rupees difference in the trial balance. So that is why this halving entry, halving, you can say practice or strategy can be useful in detecting any account which has not been entered. Next step is that all the ledger accounts we should balance once again. I mean, we should take the totals of all the ledger balances, ledger accounts, and then take the balance and then check the balance whether the balancing has been done correctly. We should check the totals of the subsidiary books also again, especially if differences like ₹1 or ₹100 and things like that. Maybe some zero is missing somewhere. On the other hand, in the next step, we take, if the difference is very big, then we should compare the balances in various accounts with the corresponding accounts in the previous financial year or previous accounting period, and check out whether if there is a lot of difference between the 2 years, then there may be a wrong entry there. Now let us say, for example, if the sales in the sales account for the current year, the balance is showing 32,53,000, and last year it was 36,45,000. So it is possible that because sale, if we know that sale has not gone down, then how this figure of a lesser figure is coming. So that will give us an idea that there may be some error in the sales account. So here we are comparing the figure of an account with the previous accounting year's figure. So then we should check all the ledger postings which are equal to the difference or half the difference, as we have seen earlier. Because at the posting stage also it may happen. that an amount may be omitted to be posted, or it may be posted on the wrong side. Now, after doing all these steps also, if still there is a difference in the trial balance, a complete checking, 100% checking of every entry may become necessary. Now, opening entry must also be checked very correctly, and it may be better to begin with the nominal accounts and then move to the personal accounts later on. Now we come to the rectification of errors. We have already identified the errors. We have also seen the steps to locate those errors. And then, having located the errors, how do we go about doing the rectification of the errors? That is the main topic here. So first thing that has to be understood very clearly is that we should never overwrite. We should never do any overwriting to correct any errors in the account books. Supposing we make an entry and we find that, oh, we have made an entry which is incorrect, it becomes clear immediately that error has been committed. So we may neatly cross it out, cross out the wrong entry and make the correct entry there itself if we have detected it. However, if the error has not been detected immediately and the error has been detected after some time, then we should make the correction by making another suitable entry, which is called the rectification entry in the books of accounts. So crossing out should be done only when error has been detected immediately, and at that stage no totaling has been done and no damage may happen. So therefore, all that can be done there is that we can neatly cross out that entry and make a correct entry. But if the error is not located immediately and it is located after some time, then we will need to make a rectification entry. Now, in order to make the rectification entry, we must understand the stage at which the error has happened, and accordingly we will make an appropriate entry. So error can be detected at three stages. One is before the trial balance is prepared, or after the trial balance is prepared but before the final accounts have been drawn, and third stage is after the final accounts have been drawn. That means that in the next accounting period. So let us understand how to make corrections in each of these situations where the error is detected at different stages of the time and the stages of the preparation of the accounts. So first of all, let us understand when the trial balance is yet to be prepared, before that, how the rectification is to be done. Now, before the preparation of trial balance. Now, there are some errors which affect one side of an account or which affect more than one account in such a way that it is not possible to pass a complete rectification entry. In other words, there are some errors which can be corrected if detected at this stage by making rectification statement in the appropriate sides of the concerned account. And such errors may involve only one account or more than one account also. So let us understand how we are rectifying the errors over here. So first example is that sales book is undercast by 200, which means the total of the sales book is incorrect by 200 rupees on the underside, which means that the totaling is less than the correct total by 200 rupees. Now the effect of this is on the sales book, because sales has been entered wrongly or less by 200 rupees due to this undercasting of the sales book. Now the sales account is posted by the total of the sales book, and there is no error in the accounts of the customers because the accounts of the customers have been posted with the individual sales. So the customer accounts are correct, but the totaling mistake is there. Hence, in this case only the sale account is to be corrected, and therefore all we have to do is that we make an entry of 200 rupees on the credit side. And we make an entry of 200 on the credit side because a 200 entry on the credit side is less. So we make an additional entry of 200 rupees on the credit side, and we write there by undercasting of the sales book for November 200 rupees. So this is how, whenever we are writing the cash sales book or sales account, this is how the correction in the sales account has been made here, by making an entry on the credit side which was undercast, and then writing there that since the sales book was undercast, there is no mistake in the customer's accounts here. So we don't need to make any correction in the customer's accounts. We don't need to go to the customer's accounts and make any correction there. All we have to do is a simple entry directly into the sales account, and that will do the correction. Now another example, let us see. When we are posting the discount column on the debit side of the cash book, we have omitted to enter the amount of rupees 10, a discount which was allowed to Ramesh, and that has not been posted. Now here there is a discount column in the cash book. There is no error in the cash book as such. And since an amount of discount has not been entered, the total of the discount column which is posted to the discount account on the debit side is incorrect by rupees 10. So here we have allowed the discount to Ramesh, but there is no error in the Ramesh's account. The error is there that we have not credited Ramesh by rupees 10. We have not credited Ramesh by rupees 10, which we should have credited him by rupees 10 and debited the discount column in the cash book. So we will make the correction here, and make an entry by omission of posting of discount on rupees 10. We'll make this entry which was not made earlier, and this entry would because here what is happening is the discount amount has not been entered, so Ramesh has not been allowed a discount here. Therefore, we'll need to make an entry in the Ramesh's account also, and we'll have to make an entry in the cash book discount column also to write the discount amount. So what we'll do is that we'll make an entry by omission of posting of discount on Ramesh, rupees 10, like that. And this entry we can make in the discount column. And thereby allow this discount. Of course, on the other hand, the entry would be required to be made in Ramesh's account also. Then we have received rupees 200 from Ram, and it has been entered by mistake on the debit side of Ram's account, whereas it should have been entered in the credit side of the Ram's account. Now, cash book is written correctly because in the cash book the entry is correct. The cash book has been debited with 200 rupees. So error in this case is only in the account of Ram. Now, error in the account of Ram is that he should have been credited with 200 rupees, but he has been debited by 200 rupees. So the wrong debit in the account of Ram has to be removed, but a credit of 200 is to be given also. So a total credit of 400 is to be given. So what we can do is that we can give a 400 rupees entry on the credit side of Ram's account, and we'll write the description there by posting on the wrong side rupees 400. So this here a double amount has to be used for making the correction. Now let us see that in the next case how the correction is being made. What we are trying to understand first of all, before the preparation of trial balance, how we are making the corrections. Now fourth example is rupees 50 was received from Mahesh, and this rupees 50 which was received from Mahesh has been entered on debit side of the cash book, but it was not posted to Mahesh's account. So only single entry has been made rather than a double entry. Cash book has been debited correctly, but Mahesh's account has not been debited. So Mahesh's account has not been credited. Now this error is affecting only Mahesh's account. So rupees 50 has been omitted from the credit side of his account. So we'll make a rectification entry in Mahesh's account by giving a description by omission of posting on rupees 50. Now the next example is rupees 51 which was paid to Mohan has been posted as rupees 15. So wrong value has been made, and though it has been debited to his account correctly, but the wrong value has been debited. So instead of 51, 15 has been debited. So the difference is 36, 51 minus 15. 36 has not been debited. So we'll make a debit side entry into his Mohan's account, and we'll say two mistake in posting on rupees 36. Now next example is that goods which were sold to Ram for rupees 1000. These goods were wrongly posted from sales day book to the debit side of the purchase account. This was a sale. It should have gone to the sales account, but they were entered on the purchase account. Now Ram has been correctly debited, but instead of crediting sales book, the purchase account has been debited. Now what is wrong here is that there is the purchase account is written wrongly and the sales account is also written wrongly. But because what should have been there in sales account, it has been entered in the purchase account. But we cannot pass a journal entry for rectification because both the accounts have to be credited. And journal entry we have to make a debit entry and a credit entry. But here we have to credit sales and we have to credit purchase also. So since we have to credit both, we can't pass a journal entry to make a rectification here. So we'll make an entry into both accounts where we'll write an entry saying by wrong posting on ₹1000 in the credit of the purchase account, and this entry will make in the credit of the purchase account, and then in the account entry by omission of posting on 1000. Now next example is the bills which were receivable from Mr. A of ₹500. They were posted to the credit of the bills payable account. Actually, they were bills receivable, but wrongly they were posted to the credit of the bills payable account and also credited to A's account. So in case of bills receivable, the entry has to be made that we debit A and we credit the bills receivable. So here, instead of debiting A, we are crediting A. No, that is fine. We should have credited A, so credit has gone to A correctly, but bills receivable debit should have been made, but it's been wrongly debited to bills payable account. So again here what is happening is two accounts are involved. Like bills receivable account there is an error and bills payable account there is also an error because an entry which should have been there in bills receivable that has been made in bills payable account. But here also to make the correction we cannot pass a complete journal entry because we need to credit the bills receivable account and we need to debit the bills payable account. So what we can do here is the rectification will be passing the entry to wrong posting on 500 in debit of side of the bills payable account, and we'll say to omission of posting on 500 to the debit of the bills receivable account. Because whenever a bill is received from somebody, we are debiting the bills receivable account and we are crediting A's account. For example, if I receive a bill receivable from A, what I will do is I will debit the bills receivable account and credit A. So here the correction is to be made to debit the bills receivable account, and on the other hand, the bills payable account needs to be also debited. So since both accounts need to be debited to make the rectification entry, it is not possible to do so by a journal entry, and therefore we'll make these entries in the two respective accounts itself. We'll make a entry in the bills payable account saying that to wrong posting on 500, and this will make on the debit side of the bills payable account, and we'll make an entry on the debit side of the bills receivable account also to omission of posting on 500. The next one is the goods purchased from Vinod for 1000 rupees was wrongly credited to Vimal account by 100. Now goods which were purchased from Vinod, they were purchased for 1000 rupees, but they were wrongly credited to Vimal account by 100 rupees. So there are two mistakes being made here, because goods were purchased from Vinod, so we should have credited Vinod with it, but we have credited Vimal. So to make a rectification, here again two accounts are involved, Vinod's account and Vimal's account. Now goods have been purchased, that is fine. The entry has gone into the purchase account correctly. So the rectification has to be done in the account and in Vimal's account. In Vimal's account, we will debit Vimal's account because we have wrongly credited his account. And on the other hand, we will now credit Vinod's account by 1000 rupees. So we will debit Vimal's account by 100 rupees only, but credit Vinod's account by 1000 rupees because here, though we are making one debit entry and one credit entry to make the correction, but the amount involved is not equal. So therefore, again, we cannot make any journal entry to make this correction or to make this rectification. We have to go into the individual accounts of Vimal and Vinod and make the correct entry over there. Now we come to an illustration. That is illustration 1. We will do a few of these illustrations to start with in this webinar. Now we have to make the corrections in the book of Rama and Company. The total of the purchase book has been undercast by rupees 100. So what has been done here is the total has been undercast. The total has been not taken correctly in the purchase book. So that is why entry in the ledger which is going into the purchase account is incorrect by 100 rupees. And therefore we need to make a debit entry in the purchase account. So purchase account should be debited by 100 rupees to make the correction, and the description would be to undercasting of the purchase book for the month of whatever month. The second mistake is, or the second error is, the returns inward book has been undercast by 50 rupees. Returns inward book has been undercast. So the returns inward account has been wrongly cast, and therefore we'll make the entry of error correction in the returns inward account. Undercasting of the return inward book for the month of whatever month it is, rupees 50. Now, a sum of 250 was written off as depreciation on machinery has not been debited to depreciation account, because when we write off depreciation, we debit the depreciation account and we credit machinery account. But here, though machinery account has been credited, but depreciation account has not been debited. So therefore, we will make an entry of debit in the depreciation account, which was omission of posting on rupees 250. So this is a depreciation account correction entry. Then a payment of 75 for salaries has been posted 2 times in salaries account. So salary has been debited 2 times. So the excess debited will be removed by making a credit entry in the sales account, salary account, and the description would be by double posting on rupees 75. The next one is that total of bill receivable book has been posted to the credit side of the bills receivable account, although it should have been posted to the debit side of the bills receivable account. Because when we receive any bill receivable from anyone, we debit the bill receivable account and we credit that person's account. We have wrongly posted the total of the bills receivable book to the credit side of the bill receivable account. We have to make a double correction here of 3,000 rupees. So we'll make a debit side entry in bills receivable account of 3,000 rupees, and we'll make the description to wrong posting of bills receivable received on 3,000 rupees. Then amount of rupees 151 for a credit sale made to Hari. It was entered in the sales book correctly, but the value entered was 115. So in the sales book there is a mistake of rupees 36 that needs to be, that is overdone, because an amount has been, that is underdone because amount has been written as undercast, amount has been written as 115 instead of 151. So an additional 336 rupees credit has to be given to the sales account. So what has been done is that sales book has been written correctly, but in Hari's book this mistake has happened, because Hari should have been debited for 151. He has been debited for 115. So we'll introduce an extra debit in Hari's account of 36 rupees. So since Hari's account has been wrongly debited, now it will be debited by rupees 36 more. And as the last point here, the discount which is allowed to Satish 25 has not been entered in the discount column of the cash book. Discount has been allowed to Satish. Satish's account has been credited with 25 rupees, but in the discount column it has not been entered, though the amount has been posted correctly to credit of the personal account of Satish. So we have to introduce this amount in the discount column of the cash book, as it has not been entered so far. So we'll debit the discount account by making an extra debit entry in the discount column saying to discount allowed to Satish on rupees 25. So with that example, we come to the end of this webinar, and we continue this webinar again in today evening at 9 p.m. So please join us at 9 p.m. for Rectification of Errors Part 2.